From people close to President Trump that it's not the most comfortable weekend to be a senior White House staffer. The president, we're told, is more upset than many people have ever seen, and he's aiming that anger at everyone from the chief of staff down. It all stems from a very roller coaster week at the White House. A short time ago, I got the full story from CNN's Jim Acosta.
We can tell you that President Trump was very frustrated with his senior staff and communications team on Friday morning, just before he departed for Mar-a-Lago. According to one source that I spoke to, quote, nobody has seen him that upset, end quote. The feeling being inside the Oval Office, and we had a camera there that was rolling where you could see officials having a heated conversation with one another. The feeling inside the Oval Office, according to sources we're talking to, is that the communications team, the press team of the White House had allowed the news of Jeff Sessions recusing himself from the Trump campaign Russia investigation has sort of overtaken the narrative of the week. They were feeling very enthusiastic after the president's performance at that speech to a joint session of Congress on Tuesday. And from what we're hearing from sources, the president was very upset that Sessions had even recused himself from the case. That was something, according to one source, that the president thought was hasty and overkill. He was hot. He was exasperated over this because he felt that basically they were just giving their adversaries up on Capitol Hill more ammunition by having Jeff Sessions recuse himself. The other thing that we're hearing from sources close to all of this is that Reince Priebus, the White House chief of staff, and Stephen Bannon, the chief strategist for the president, were both scheduled to go down with the president yesterday, but those plans, those travel plans, abruptly changed. Now, we should point out, while Priebus did not make the trip, Steve Bannon did go down today, and he's having dinner right now along with other top officials with the president there at Mar-a-Lago, Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, Homeland Security Secretary Kelly, and so on. But Pamela, no question about it, this breaking news that we saw late in the week where Jeff Sessions recused himself because he did not accurately talk about his having met with the Russian ambassador to the U.S., and that entire story just infuriated the president. And in the words of one source that I talked to, the president basically told his team that the staff fumbled on all of this, Pamela.
All right, so that was Jim Acosta. I want to get to Andre Bauer now. He is the former Republican Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina, and CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist Keith Boykin. Thank you both for coming on. Andre, I want to start with you. This anger at the president's staff, does it seem misguided to you? Would you expect him to be more angry at Jeff Sessions?
Well, number one, I'm angry, and I'm sure he's angry, that somewhere along the line, someone in his staff has let this get back to ABC. I mean, there needs to be an absolute stop hold that when he expresses something, if in fact he did express this, that it doesn't leave that room. So he's got a problem somewhere along the line, if this is in fact true, of loyalty. And loyalty is a big thing with Donald Trump. And so I would say, first off, he's got to find that and stop it if in fact that's true. But look, if people are lying about your friend or saying things that are untrue about someone you revere, you're going to be upset. You're going to be agitated. And when he had the biggest week probably of his presidency, a unifying and bold statement in the State of the Union that was received overwhelmingly by the business community and the American people, to derail that with this continual drumbeat of almost a coup to say he has these Russian ties is disheartening for me. It's disheartening for the American people.
I just want to understand, you said when someone's lying about your friend, what do you mean by that?
Well, when they continue to say Jeff Sessions met with the Russians, well, he met in a different capacity. He thought he was answering the question.
He met with the Russian. He did. He met with the Russian official, and that was the Russian ambassador to the U.S., Kislyak. I mean, that's true. Of
course, and Kislyak has met with a multitude. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Keith, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say he met with Sergei Kislyak 2 times, once in Cleveland and once in his own office in Washington, D.C., and he denied having met him. When he was asked the question by Al Franken, he practically said he had no idea who the person was. He said he had no contact with Russia, and he considered himself a surrogate. I think that's a misleading statement at best, and I think some people would consider that a lie, and it's definitely worthy of an investigation. But here again, we have a problem with Donald Trump not taking responsibility. I mean, he's trying to blame everybody but himself for the problems that he's facing. He's blamed Hillary Clinton. He's blamed Barack Obama. He's blamed the media. He's blaming his staff. He's blaming the communications team. He's blaming Sean Spicer. He's blaming Jeff Sessions. Well, at what point will Donald Trump finally wake up and accept responsibility? The buck stops here in the Oval Office with the President of the United States, not with everybody else. It's time for him to man up and be the president, not the blamer-in-chief.
Andre, do
These
you
were
have a
two
point?
public meetings. No, he doesn't. These were two public meetings. If he were trying to hide something, it'd be a meeting he had in some private alley. It wouldn't be he met in his United States Senate office with the ambassador. That's not something anybody can hide. I mean, there's press everywhere. There's staffers everywhere. There's senators from the other party everywhere. That's not something you lie about under oath. When you meant to, I mean, absolutely, he just probably forgot about it. He meets with so many people, it was an inconsequential meeting. But this
You don't forget a meeting with the ambassador to Russia when the country is in the midst of a discussion about Russian interference in the election. That's an implausible scenario, sir. I'm sorry, Andre. That's just not a tenable answer to that question.
I know you love to keep beating this Russian drum as if he only met with him, but he met with the Democrats, he met with the president. This is a continual drumbeat. Instead of tackling the issues that affect American lives and improve American lives, the people that voted for Donald Trump want to see happen. This is just that continual beat to not have anything happen positive, but just to try to beat down the guy that is now the commander-in-chief.
Let me ask you this, Andre. Hold on. Let me ask you this. I mean, did the president sort of add to that drumbeat by tweeting out today that President Obama was wiretapped his phone during the campaign as part of an investigation? I mean, did the Trump fuel that fire, Andre?
He controlled the narrative, which he does most of the time, which he's almost now dictating the media where they go with their stories. But he didn't like. Evidently, he feels like most of the time when he has pointed this out, he's been right. He's been able to back it up. As the stories progressed, they went, oh, wow, he knew what he was talking about, and that's happened most of the time.
No, it's not true. That's not true. But when did he back up the 3 to 5 million illegal votes? When did he back up the fact that it was the largest inauguration crowd in history? When did he back up the idea that he had the largest electoral win since Ronald Reagan? He hasn't backed up any of his lies. You, Andre, are validating and enabling the liar-in-chief in the White House, and you need to stop and hold him accountable, just as you would President Obama or a potential President Hillary Clinton. The hypocrisy here is stunning, sir, and I expect more from you and from the Republican Party.
Andre?
So Detroit didn't have more votes than people that showed up? Are you denying that?
See, again, this is what happens with Donald Trump. He puts out a tweet or a false statement. There's no evidence to back it up, including the 3 to 5 million vote allegation. And then his surrogates like Andre go on television and defend the indefensible. It's impossible to have intelligent dialogue with people who won't stand up and hold their own president accountable.
Let me ask you this. Okay. Andre,
this is unacceptable. This is just unacceptable. You should be ashamed of yourself for defending this.
The narrative's not in favor.
Okay, let me just ask you this. Because it appears that the president relied on right-wing media allegations about President Obama and spying on the Trump campaign. That's what I said. White House officials, speaking to my colleague Jeff Zeleny, has said this Breitbart report circulated. Now we're waiting to hear more from the White House. I mean, we would like a full statement to understand a little bit more about what was behind this tweet. But presumably, Andre, the president wasn't being briefed before dawn on a Saturday morning on intelligence. For a president to make an allegation like that against a former president that he was wiretapping, I mean, what kind of proof would you want, burden of proof, before a president would go out and tweet like that?
Well, the New York Times back in January 19th, they reported interception of Russian communications as part of an inquiry to Trump associates. I don't know if you remember that story. So the New York Times has already said that several of his contacts have actually had intercepted communication. So he feels like he's already being wiretapped, and they've actually confirmed that.
But Donald Trump this morning at 6 a.m. or sometime like that sent out a series of tweets accusing President Obama of engaging in behavior that was illegal. He said it was a low blow. He said the President Obama was a sick person. This is the President of the United States at 6 a.m. in the morning, getting up today. Yes, he's defining the narrative, but not in a positive way. He's an embarrassment to our country, an embarrassment to the world to have this man as the leader of the free world who can't even control his impulses early in the morning. He needs to have some sort of restraint and discipline. He's incapable of doing that. And you, Andre, as a Republican, should have the goal, and no, maybe not the goal, but just the courage to speak up to him. At least someone should have the courage to speak truth to power. No one right now is doing that in the Republican Party, and that is the real crisis in our country.
Quickly, final word, Andre, quickly.
I'm a Republican. And so you keep hammering. I know you like to be divisive and keep hammering me as a Republican. I'm an American.
The president is divisive. The president is the one who's attacking everyone.
Let's listen to what Andre says.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's a continual drumbeat and try to make it partisan. The American people want change. They elected him. I know you don't like that. I know you wish there was somebody else in there, but get used to it. You're not going to like it. He's going to do things that you don't agree with. He's the President of the United States, and he's going to fight the media when he doesn't believe what they're saying or he disagrees with them. It's refreshing to me and a lot of Americans that he's not backing down and he's got enough gumption to say, I'm not going to take it anymore, because I'm one of the people that had the media beat on me, and I would immediately back down because they were so powerful. This guy has enough backbone to say, I believe in what I believe in, and I would say stay tuned that if he tweeted that this morning, he's probably got a way he's going to back it up. People go, oh, wait a minute, and you're going to be backpedaling going,
maybe you should get some backbone, Andre, and start to
know
speak the
what he
truth.
was basing that on, and again, we're still waiting for an official White House response on that. Andre Bauer, Keith Boykin, thank you to you both. We do appreciate you coming on the show for that lively discussion there. And coming up right here on this Saturday, I'll speak with Republican Steve King, a congressman who did not want to see Attorney General Jeff Sessions recuse himself. Does he know anything we don't know about President Trump's stunning allegations today against President Obama? You are live in the CNN Newsroom.
Out front, stories that matter.
You've got the money and you've got the passion, but how do you actually make a difference?
From the people making headlines.
Did you ever think that this day would come?
To wherever news breaks, Aaron is there, one-on-one, in the field, and around the globe.
Could this kind of thing happen in the U.S.?
Aaron Burnett, Out Front, weeknights 7 Eastern on CNN.